The Steelers Extra Point Show, presented by Neighborhood Ford Store.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome in live. And what a second half comeback by the Steelers, the best of the Mike Tomlin era. There it is, and they win the AFC North with a 28-24 come-from-behind win. Mike Tomlin is addressing the media right now. Let's take you to Heinz Field and the coach.
At this point, and good to push forward. Can't say enough about the guys. You know, we're far from perfect. Our warts are well documented. I'm sure you guys will continue to chop those up, and we'll continue to work on them in the effort to get better and increase our chances of winning each and every time out. Not a lot to speak of from an injury standpoint, thankfully, man. We've struggled with that in recent weeks, and hopefully we start to get some of these guys back. It was good to get James Conner back today, for example. Questions?
Jerry Dulac.
Hey, Mike, how did a team turn it around so dramatically from one half to the second?
We missed on some opportunities in the first half. I don't know if it was that dramatic. It's a fine line between, drinking wine and squashing grapes, as we say in this business, and sometimes it's very subtle. And so we didn't change drastically in terms of our approach, in terms of what we were doing. We just acknowledged that we had some opportunities we didn't make, and we needed to make more plays in the second half in all three phases, and that's the mentality that we took the field with.
Dejan Kovacevic.
Mike, what went into the thinking to start throwing the ball downfield in the second half?
We threw the ball downfield in the first half. We just missed on some connects.
Will Graves.
Mike, the ability to go down, that one play to Deontay, I mean, what does that speak to him about his ability? He's had his struggles lately to hold on to the ball, to make that catch, and for Ben to sort of make that play.
We've all had our struggles of late, and so none of us are removed from that. This is a fighter's business. This is a competitor's business, and I expect all to compete and to smile in the face of adversity, and he did.
Joe Rudder.
Yeah, Mike, how big of it was for your defense to hold them there after the fourth down stop at the goal line and to get the ball back quickly?
That's why we went for it on fourth down. We had a lot of confidence in our defense's ability to leave them down there. Now, that's easier said than done. I appreciate the efforts in terms of making that real.
Brooke Pryor.
Yeah, Mike, can you speak to Ben Roethlisberger's turnaround from the first to the second half? It just looked like he was more in sync and just clicking more there in the second half with the offense.
I've been watching Ben like you guys have for 17 years, man. Half a play is not going to define him. He's a competitor. And as long as there's time on the clock, he's going to keep coming at you.
Mark Caboli.
Hey, Mike, just could you tell us about the locker room? How big of a celebration, if any, was there in there after the North Division Championship?
We're excited about the hats and T-shirts, man. We've been waiting to put them on for a few weeks now. And so, it's a lot of excitement in there, and rightfully so, man. They've earned that.
Tim Benz.
How much did Connor help you in the second half there? I know he wasn't in the goal line sequence prior to getting into the game, more later in the third and fourth quarter. How much did he help your offense down the stretch?
He was no question, he brought an energy and an intensity and a demeanor that was contagious. But he always brings that. That's consistent with who he is. He just hadn't been very available of late.
Mike Pursuta.
Mike, it was reported by CBS at halftime that you thought there were chunk plays available in the first half that were not converted. Was there anything?
Correct.
Was there anything consistent with that? And why were you able to convert them in the second half?
We we played better. We got open more. We made better throws. We protected better, or what have you. It's all a collective. We thought some chunk plays were there. We didn't necessarily get them or capitalize on them, but that wasn't going to stop us. We weren't going to be deterred, and it was a critical component in terms of us getting back in the game. You're not going to get back in the game 3 yards at a time when you're down the way we were down, particularly after we gave up a field goal to start the second half.
Mark Caboli.
Mike, you're pretty much locked into the 3 seed, maybe the 2 seed. What goes into the decision next week of who you play and how long you play? And is there something to just keeping the momentum going?
We'll ponder those possibilities in the morning. Tonight, we're going to wear our hats and T-shirts.
Jenna Harner.
Mike, what does what this team was able to do in the second half say about where you guys want to go moving forward here?
I think we're going to write that story. We're not trying to say anything. We're trying to win football games because that's our business. And so that story is going to be written as we go forward.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
All right, that's Mike Tomlin after the game, and he's happy, of course, that the Steelers came through with the biggest comeback of the Mike Tomlin era. What a time to do it, and what a time for Ben Roethlisberger to take you back a few years. And boy, what a great second half. 3 touchdown passes, passer rating of 109. Bob Pompeani here with Chris Hoke Bros 76. Chris Hoke, man, 24-7 at the time. The win probability for the Colts was up in the 93% range. And all of a sudden, here come the Steelers. And I think the defense had a lot to do with them actually getting back into this game, Chris.
The defense really stepped up in the second half. But where I saw it happening, Bob, was at the end of the first half on that hurry-up drive there at the end. I know that there was some mismanagement of the clock, but when the Steelers got the ball back, Ben completed some passes down the field. He got some confidence there at the end of the half. Then you saw the first drive of the second half. They moved all the way down the field. They couldn't score, but from there on, they moved the ball at will. And so I believe that at the end of the half is where Ben got his confidence rolling again.
Yeah, and it was interesting because the defense had done a pretty good job. All of a sudden, the Steelers had an opportunity down 24-7, first and goal from the 1, and they could not score on 4 straight plays. And at that point, you said, well, this thing ain't going to change around. That's the golden opportunity, yet they got it right back again. The defense forced a punt. 39 yards right off the bat. Roethlisberger on the money for the touchdown. Deontay Johnson. I thought that little sequence there changed the entire game.
Changed the entire game. It went from really a 24-7 game with the Colts moving the ball at will. Now the Steelers can't score. It's tough to move the ball when you're backed up. You're limited on the calls you can call for the Colts. The Steelers defense played it very well. The ball was punted to the Steelers. They got the ball at their 39-yard line, moving in, at the Colts 39-yard line. What a strike from Ben, and that changed everything. That loosened up the Colts defense. They had to back off the ball, and it opened up all the underneath routes. From there on, the Steelers were able to move the ball when they wanted. They were able to pick and choose where Ben wanted to go with the football, and it changed the complexion of the whole game.
It really did. We're going to break it down when we come back. We have plenty of postgame coming at you today as the Steelers win the AFC North. And now we'll get some time to potentially rest some guys next week. But as you heard Mike Tomlin say, we're not going to worry about that. We're going to wear our hats and T-shirts tonight. 28-24, Steelers win. And we'll come back with more postgame, including T.J. Watt, who had a big hand in it as well. You are watching Steelers Extra Point right here on KDKA.
Took down the tree. That means it's time to put 2020 in the rear view and get to the final days of the Ford Built for the Holidays sales event. It's your last chance for our best offers of the season across the Ford lineup. So hurry in today. The Ford Built for the Holidays sales event ends soon. Get a 2020 Ranger with 0% financing for 60 months with 1,000 trade assist cash during the Built for the Holidays sales event at your neighborhood Ford store.
Want to sell your Pittsburgh area home faster and for the best price? Then make it RE/MAX Select Realty. RE/MAX Select agents sell up to 3 times as many homes as other agents. That means more buyers searching your neighborhood right now. Call RE/MAX Select today. We'll meet and list your home tomorrow. Plus, get your free RE/MAX market price evaluation. Selling your home is a big decision. Make it RE/MAX Select Realty. See us now at selecthomefinder.com.
This holiday, we all have places we want to go.
We're going sledding.
We're going to find the perfect tree.
We're going to Nana's.
So wherever you go, happy holidays from Chevy.
Head to your local Chevy dealer to find great deals on popular cars, trucks, and SUVs. Take home a new Chevy this holiday season. Current qualified competitive lessees can get this 2020 Equinox for around $149 a month. Or use the Chevy employee discount for everyone to get over $6,600 below MSRP when you purchase.
I know this all looks very Hollywood, but guess what? This is a Nissan sales event ad. Sales event ads are usually boring. Is this boring? There's a nice little present. This Altima has intelligent all-wheel drive, unlike that Accord behind me. What did you want, a big red bow?
Now's the best time to get a great deal on a Nissan.
Welcome back to Steelers Extra Point, presented by Neighborhood Ford Store.
Welcome back as we continue live right here. Bob Pompeani, Chris Hoke with you. We will be taking your calls a little later, so hang with us here. We're also going to take you back in the locker room. The Steelers fell behind early in this game. In fact, that lead increased for Indianapolis with the field goal in the third quarter to make it 24-7 as you take a look at the line score. But that's when the Steelers responded with a big 39-yard touchdown from Roethlisberger to Deontay Johnson. 2 more touchdown passes after that. 28-24 to complete the comeback. T.J. Watt had 2 of the 5 sacks. He continues to lead the NFL in sacks. Here's TJ postgame.
They did a good job of supplementing those with chips and help, but at the end of the day, I feel like we got after them pretty good.
Let's go to Brian Backo. Brian?
TJ, I mean, either side of the ball really have to ask what went on at halftime that, kind of seemed to just spark the way you guys turned everything around coming out.
Just understanding that we're a lot better football team than what we showed in the first half, and just bowing up and putting on a better product in the second half.
Jeff Hathorn?
TJ, could you speak to the importance of Mike Hilton and the splash plays he makes for this defense?
Yeah, Mike is a special cat in this defense. He blitzes, he drops in coverage, he does man-to-man coverage, he does basically anything that we ask him to do. He's a very gritty football player, and at the end of the day, Mike Hilton makes plays for us, and very fortunate to have him on our team.
Anthony Jaskolski.
Hi, TJ. Earlier this week, we talked about the importance of forcing turnovers, and you guys haven't been able to do that. How important was that for just the psyche of this defense and the momentum in this game to force that first one in the first half?
Yeah, you talk about winning in the NFL. It's always about the turnover ratio, especially as a defense, and trying to support the offense as much as we can by giving them good field position, ready to score points. And I feel like we did a good job today, but there's still a lot to build on and improve on moving forward.
Jenna Harner.
TJ, sorry, I jumped in a little late here, so I apologize if this has already been asked, but what does it mean to you guys to be AFC North champs, especially to win the way that you guys did?
All right, that's post-game reaction from T.J. Watt. And again, you look at the defense and its role in this play. Certainly, they accounted for the first points of the day for the Steelers. It was a James Conner touchdown, but it was T.J. Watt and Mike Hilton who combined to make it all happen. And Chris, let's talk about that, because at the time, the offense was 3 and out off the field. They didn't have a lot of plays in that first half, but they made the strip sack, and Watt's been all over. Boy, he took advantage of the tackle situation. It was so depleted with the Indianapolis Colts. Mike Hilton scooped it up, looked like a potential scoop and score. He was stopped, but then the offense went to work. But that 7 points was big as well.
That was huge. You look at it right now. The Colts are up 7-0. They had the momentum. They were moving the ball again. What a great play. T.J. Watt had 2 sacks in the first quarter and a half of this game. And that sack fumble that he caused, I mean, he beat the tackle around the edge. He was able to get the arm of Phillip Rivers as he was getting ready to throw the ball. Mike Hilton scoops it up, takes it down to the 3-yard line, which led to the Steelers' first score, tying it up 7-7. That's the kind of plays this defense has created throughout the whole season, and we've missed that the last 3 weeks in this 3-game losing streak here, and the defense hasn't been able to create the turnovers in 2 of those 3 games. So a tremendous play, kept the Steelers within striking distance, all because of T.J. Watt and his effort.
And all those sacks were so instrumental in the second half. Avery Williamson had 1. That led to immediate points, and then later was Cam Heyward who had a sack, and that led to touchdown pass as well. So defense complementing offense, and finally the offense complementing the defense. We're going to take a break. We have plenty more coming up. Steelers win the division, and now they also temporarily move into the number 2 seed. Buffalo plays New England. Later we'll find out about that. Plenty more to cover as the Steelers now look ahead to the postseason. Their finale next week against Cleveland doesn't have much riding on it except potential rest for some players. We'll discuss that as well. 28-24, Steelers win. They are the champs of the North. We return right after this live on KDKA TV.
This is a game changer. I'm Jason Waller, founder of Power Home Solar. The solar movement is on. It's time to own your power. With our American-made solar panels, we've teamed up with Generac's backup battery system so you can reduce those energy bills and never be without power again. And right now, score big with $2,000 instant cash back. Generac and Power Home Solar, the #1 team in home energy.
Every year, we set out to do one thing: help the world believe in holiday magic. and this year was harder than ever. And yet, somehow, you all found a way to pull it off. It's not about the toys or the ornaments, but about coming together.
Santa, you're on mute.
Oh, just wanted to say thanks. Thanks for believing.
Took down the tree. That means it's time to put 2020 in the rear view and get to the final days of the Ford Built for the Holidays sales event. It's your last chance for our best offers of the season across the Ford lineup. So hurry in today. The Ford Built for the Holidays sales event ends soon. Get a 2020 F-150 with $9,450 in total savings plus $1,000 trade assist cash during the Built for the Holidays sales event at your neighborhood Ford store.
Another day, another chance to bounce forward.
Let's do this.
By making your internet speeds fast and reliable, so you can keep up with your customers. By ensuring those speeds have wireless internet backup. So if the power goes down, your connection doesn't. And by covering all your connected devices with serious security. So we can handle this and this, while you get on with this and this. Be fast, be secure, bounce forward with Comcast Business. Xfinity customers, ask how to get a $100 prepaid card when you sign up for Comcast Business. Call today.
Welcome back to Steelers Extra Point, presented by Neighborhood Ford Store.
All right, as I said, the Steelers now number 2 seed. As it stands right now, they would take on the Browns in the first round of the playoffs. The Ravens also get in at this point because of the loss to Indianapolis, and they find themselves, I believe, on the outside looking in. That's how critical their loss was after they had that 24-7 lead. Mike Hilton had a lot to do with it. We talked about the fumble recovery off the T.J. Watt forced fumble, and he's had a lot of those over at Heinz Field. Hilton on the day, 4 tackles, 2 solo, 2 pass defenses, a fumble recovery. He always makes things happen. Let's go over to Heinz Field and hear from number 28.
You could say that, it was a big play at a big moment, and we were able to close the game out and get a big win.
Brooke Pryor, ESPN.
Yeah, Mike, how much do plays like your interception, like some of the stops you guys had, really give the whole team momentum? And is that something that you feel like maybe has been lacking in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, absolutely. We weren't able to force turnovers our last 3 losses. And, it kind of put a little more pressure on the offense. But as a defense, we know we put them on short field. Our offense will succeed, and we were able to do that today.
Joe Rutter, Trib.
Yeah, Mike, what was the thought of the defense when you stopped them, or when you had to go out there on the 1-yard line there in the third quarter?
It was just, play hard, man, and just focus up, try to make a play. We were put in a tough position, but the guys fought, and like I said, we got a big win for us.
Mike Pizzuta, DVE.
Mike, does the comeback and the contributions of all phases restore confidence, or were you able to pull that off because you hadn't lost confidence?
We haven't lost confidence. We know what type of team we're capable of being, and when we play well in all 3 phases, it shows what we can do. We know as a team that if we all work as one, we'll be able to succeed.
Last one for right now, Jerry.
All right, that's Mike Hilton after the game. Again, big day for him, and he seems to be every time you need a play, he's around the football. Fumble recovery, interception, big tackles. They had tackles for losses today. It's interesting what we saw as we go to Chris with some of these final stats, because at halftime, Chris, it was so easy to be down on this team. Yeah. They only had 28 yards of offense in the first half, and they were down 17 points midway through the third. Who thought this was coming? But boy, what a turnaround stat-wise.
I think you and I were just like a lot of Steeler Nation there at the end of the first half, scratching our heads going, what is going to happen? There's no way we're going to win this game. There's no way we're going to go into the playoffs with any momentum, and all of that shifted. But the biggest thing to me was in the first half, the Steelers only had 6 first downs. Indianapolis Colts had 13. Look at there. The Steelers ended up with 20 more first downs in the second half to a total of 26, and the Colts only had at 8. And you look at the rushing attempts, this is where the Steelers have to get better, particularly down in the red zone. You saw that there in the first drive of the second half. They've got to run the ball. Only 14 carries for 20 yards. The Colts had 28 for 127. Passing there, it really picked up in the second half. Ben got his confidence going that he didn't have in the first half with 333 yards to the Colts 238 yards. Penalties hurt the Colts. They gave up some PIs and some pass interference and some other illegal touches there in the second half that led to continued drives for the Steelers. 9 for 83 for the Colts. Turnover is a big point of this. You talked about Mike Hilton, Bob. Mike Hilton recovered that sack fumble by T.J. Watt in the second quarter. Then in the fourth quarter, with 6:05 left, he intercepted that ball that Phillip Rivers threw it up for grabs, came down with it, and that was a huge turnover for the Steelers. Let them run down the clock. So really, the Steelers, tale of two halves. They dominated the second half, and that's why these stats look so different than they did at halftime.
Hard to imagine, but that's why they play the game, and that's why it is 60 minutes. You got to play the whole thing and see what happens. And boy, did they turn it on. The momentum started to turn, and when that happens, you saw the response of the Steelers, especially from their offense, which was not very good in the first half, and that's an understatement. When we come back, we're going to hear from Stephon Tuitt, who had a sack. The sack brigade continues. The Steelers lead the NFL in sacks. 5 more in the books today. We'll be back with more of our post-game coverage of a 28-24 North clinching win. The Steelers with their 24th Division Championship. We'll be right back here live on KDKA.
Yeah, thanks for joining me. I'm glad you're all here.
A lot has changed about the workplace this year.
Sorry, guys.
But not everything. Our affordable plans give employees access to the top-ranked care of UPMC and many community doctors and hospitals, award-winning customer service, and 24/7 video visits.
Thank you.
It's no wonder why businesses that choose UPMC Health Plan stay with UPMC Health Plan.
Took down the tree. That means it's time to put 2020 in the rear view and get to the final days of the Ford Built for the Holidays sales event. It's your last chance for our best offers of the season across the Ford lineup. So hurry in today. The Ford Built for the Holidays sales event ends soon. Returning lessees can get a 2020 F-150 for $299 a month for 24 months during the Built for the Holidays sales event only at your neighborhood Ford store.
I did some early shopping this year. One for you, one for me.
I love it. I got us a little something, too.
Yeah?
Yep. One for you and one for me.
I love it.
Oh, actually, that was supposed to be for me.
I love it.
I like red.
It's the GMC season to upgrade. Now everyone can get GM employee pricing on most GMC models. Or current eligible non-GM owners can get this low-mileage lease on this 2021 Acadia SLE for around $179 per month.
This season, Kia's got great deals on our new lineup of vehicles built to help you take on winter. Stop by your local Kia dealer and discover cars and SUVs loaded with advanced tech and safety features, all with our legendary reliability. So this year, you won't just cope with winter. You'll command it. Right now, get 0% APR for 66 months plus $1,000 holiday bonus cash on the purchase of a 2021 Sportage. Or lease a 2021 Sportage LX all-wheel drive for $179 a month.
Welcome back to Steelers Extra Point, presented by Neighborhood Ford Store.
Well, it was a Christmas gift come late. First half looked like they're going to be a lump of coal, but then the second half turned out to be the gift that all Steeler fans were hoping for, and that's winning a division championship as opposed to backing into one, which could have happened today had they lost and the Browns lost as well, which they did. Instead, they went out and they earned it, and they hurt the Indianapolis Colts, as it turned out as well. The Steelers fell behind in this game, and at the time, it didn't look good. We talked about the first half, 28 total yards, just 6 first downs, and they were being dominated, quite frankly. And then, after they were down with a field goal early in the third quarter, 24-7. That's when they put together that comeback. And Chris, the defense, as we said, had something to do with it. And they got to push up front. Those guys have been good all year, dealing with some injuries. Stephon Tuitt got involved in the act. Cam Heyward with a big sack. Those guys are important to this defense, especially with some of the losses to the inside linebackers.
Very important, and really that front four, front five, they have to create pressure up front because the linebacking core isn't like it was before COVID, before all these injuries. And so when you talk about Stephon Tuitt, where he had a sack, a batted ball, Cam Heyward, who battled probably the best guard in the NFL all game, and then T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith, who had a big pressure at the end, those guys have to step up in order for this defense to play well. But I'll tell you what, the Colts, I think they did a little bit of this to themselves. You talk about the second half, they threw the ball 23 times and only carried the ball 8 times, Bob. 8 times or 50 yards. They had success, right? That's 6 yards a carry. But what happened was they got away from it. They got enamored with this throwing game, and they allowed the Steelers to get to them. They didn't let the clock run, and that's one thing that you've got to get away from. Frank Reich, after the game, was asked about his play calling. What he said was it wasn't very good because I believe they got away from being a balanced offense and allowed the Steelers to get back in the game because they weren't able to run out the clock as much.
I think that's an excellent point. We were discussing it because Jonathan Taylor was dominating the game, you know, and then he still ended up with 74 yards, but he was on a pace to go over 100. They went away from that. They went into a passing game, and they did not hit on a lot of it. But again, a lot of it has to do with the Ben Roethlisberger and the comeback that he put. What a great second half. Maybe his best performance of the second half all season long. Ben Roethlisberger now live post-game at Heinz Field.
How do you turn it around so dramatically like that in the second half of a game?
You know what? Just believing in each other and believing that we can make plays, and guys made plays. That's what we needed in the second half, was guys to step up and, you know, make the tough catches and block. And, you know, we just have little things here and there, you know, little MEs, little mistakes. And in the second half, it just felt like we were able to kind of get into a rhythm, convert first downs, and put drives together. And then I think that's one of the biggest things that is helpful to both us and our defense.
Brooke Pryor.
Yeah, Ben, Juju said afterward that you made a speech at halftime about having more fun. What did you say to the team, and how much was that a part of the second half turnaround?
Well, I think that we always need to have fun playing this game. We need to understand that we have been given, you know, we have God-given abilities, and we're so thankful that He's blessed us with the ability to do those things and to play football. And so, you know, it just felt like we weren't having fun. And so I think that was super important that we were able to come out in the second half. And it's not easy to do when you're losing, but we just believe in each other, and we were able to get it done.
Mark Caboli.
Hey, Ben, you came out the second half and drove down the field. It seemed like you went to a lot of no huddle. Why at that point right there? And better yet is, why did it work at that point of the game?
Yeah, just a lot of the second half was that, just kind of changing the tempo, trying to get guys balls, looks, things like that. So I think it was successful because guys made plays, and like I said, we were able to convert and kind of keep the tempo going.
Dejan Kovacevic.
Ben, did anything change with the play calling between the first and second half? And if it didn't, how do you explain how much more effectively you were able to throw the ball downfield and everybody making plays?
Well, it's just what you said right there. Guys are making plays. You know, you as a quarterback, you have to be accurate, and you have to give guys the opportunity to make plays. And in the second half, the line gave me time. And, you know, sometimes when you're going with the up-tempo or the no-huddle, you can kind of slow down a pass rush. You know, guys are getting a little tired. You can make defenses call sometimes less exotic things. And so that's kind of what we try to do in the second half.
Will Graves.
Hey, Ben, on that touchdown to Juju, it looked like pre-snap you were sending Deontay and Chase. Was that a play that you sort of drew up on the spot there, or what was happening in that situation?
You about said drew it up in the dirt, didn't you? You know, it's just a play that we had a look, and we found you know, I don't know how to best describe it. You should have to ask someone else, but it worked, and Juju made a heck of a catch. Deontay ran a good route to hold the safety down, and I just saw the replay of it, and what a play, a strong catch by Juju.
Joe Rudder.
Ben, when you get the ball back there after the failed goal line stand, what made you think you could get it all back at once, and what kind of momentum did that give you getting that touchdown?
You talking about the one to Deontay, the kind of first play, that one? I'm sorry if I muted already.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
All right. Have a little confusion there, but this is the Zoom world we live in right now, and sometimes that happens. But I think it's important to note that Ben Roethlisberger, a lot of people were wondering about not going down the field that much, whether that was their choice, his choice, whose choice. But, Chris, we saw that in the second half. And when you do it, you do stretch the defense. It creates good things. And you would think down the road it may help the run game as well. But, man, I saw Zip on the ball, 39 yards to Johnson, right on the money. I saw the 25-yarder to Juju Smith-Schuster, again, with Zip right on the money. There were a lot of other throws, slant plays to Claypool that were right on the money with a lot of velocity, which is encouraging to see.
Absolutely, and everybody wants to question his arm strength right now. Let me tell you, folks, his arm is fine. You see every single game he's throwing a nice hard pass for 25-plus yards. He did so today. The difference in my mind between the first half and second half, he was protected. The offensive line blocked much, much better. In the first half, they looked lost. You saw when Chuk stepped inside and let the blitzing safety come in and hit Ben for a sack, a rare sack. You saw Al Villanueva get knocked in the backfield right into Ben. I mean, in the second half, Bob, there was so much better protection. Ben was able to stand in the pocket. He does not like it. This age in his career, at this point, does not like to be hit. He likes to stand in there, be able to throw darts, and when he is protected and he's clean, he throws good balls. If he's in there more than 2.5, 3 seconds and he's filling somebody around, that's when he panics, and you see the ball being high, being low, being behind people. That's when his balls start to go errant.
And hopefully going down the field will make defenses recognize they have to defend that more. Could open up some play action even more and help the run game, which again was a problem today. Snell, 6 carries, no yards for the game. The Steelers only had 20 rushing yards. They need to get better at that, certainly, as time moves on, but they'll have some time to work on it now that they have a division wrapped up. When we come back, more interviews. We also have your comments coming up in a special Steelers edition of the Sports Call. That's all yet to come. You're watching it live right here on your television home for Steelers football. The AFC North winners again, 28-24 your final score. What a comeback. Steelers win. We dissect when we return right here.
The usual gifts are just not going to cut it. We have to find something else. Good luck. What does that mean?
We are doomed.
That's it. I figured it out. We're going to give togetherness.
That sounds dumb.
We're going to take all those family moments and package them. That works.
At Honda, we take the holidays seriously. With serious style and serious capability. So while others may be decking the halls, you could be dashing through the snow with the best value of the season. Now's the best time to get into a new Honda. KBB.com's best value brand for 2020. Happy Honda Days is almost over, so hurry into your local Honda dealer or shop online to get a great offer on the CR-V.
At BetMGM, online casino is in good hands. With exclusive games like Premium Blackjack Pro, the best slots like Starburst and Cleopatra, and huge jackpots exclusively for Pennsylvania. Plus, new players get a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 and $25 on the house. Online casino is in good hands at BetMGM Casino.
I know this all looks very Hollywood, but guess what? This is a Nissan sales event ad. Sales event ads are usually boring. Is this boring? There's a nice little present. This Altima has intelligent all-wheel drive, unlike that Accord behind me. What did you want, a big red bow?
Now's the best time to get a great deal on a Nissan.
Welcome back to Steelers Extra Point, presented by Neighborhood Ford Store.
Welcome back as we continue live right here. Bob Pompeani and Chris Hoke with you as we continue till 6 o'clock. Your calls will be coming up. Right now we're going to hit from Stephon Tuitt over at Heinz Field. He had a nice day, too. A couple of quarterback hits, a sack, and 2 tackles for losses. Here's Stephon Tuitt.
We had a slow start, but we came back out in the second half and made the plays that we needed to make. And I think in the second half, we played great team football.
Jenna Harner.
Stephon, what does it mean to you guys to be AFC North champs and to win the way that you guys won today?
Oh, it means a lot. You see me repping the shirt right now. We have a tough division. We got a lot of great players in our division. We got a lot of good teams, and it's not easy to come by this. We do not take this for granted, and this is an opportunity not for myself, who won a couple of these, but for the younger guys on the team to see how hard you got to work for to just get an opportunity to wear a shirt and a hat like this.
Alan Saunders. Alan?
Stephon, you got me?
We do.
Just how important were the pressure in causing the turnovers you were able to create with Phillip Rivers? He's not a guy that seems to make many unforced errors.
He's great. He played this game for a long time. And, he's a field general out there. So we definitely want to try to put as much pressure onto him because if you don't, he can pick you apart. He's a great quarterback, and we got the upper hand in this game.
Jerry Dulac.
All right, that's a little bit of Stephon Tuitt. We're going to join Cam Heyward now live. He had a big sack on a 3rd and 5 play that led to the eventual game-winning touchdown. Let's hear from number 97 right now.
7 points. I just think
We gave up the 3 points to start the second half, but after that, we really settled in, and we needed everything. I thought everybody played cohesive. You look for each group to complement each other. We give up 3, then we get stopped on a 4th and 1, and we don't convert. Then the defense, gets off the field. Offense gets a quick touchdown. And you could just feel like, okay, let's ride this wave a little bit. And we just kept battling back. Proud of the guys for doing that.
Mark Cabali, The Athletic.
Hey, Cam, I don't know if you're asking, so I'm sorry, but the play of Highsmith today, how important was that? It seemed like he was pressuring the quarterback a lot.
Huge. Alex is taking steps week in and week out, and we need them. Bud's been a big contributor for us for a long time, and we understand Alex isn't going to be Bud, and we can't ask that of him, but Alex can still be a factor. I thought the pressure he had where Phillip threw it up and Mike intercepted it was huge. And we're going to need that from here on out. It alleviates more pressure off the rest of the line. And, Alex had a big game, but we're going to need it from here on out.
Jen Harder, WPXI.
Cam, what does it mean to you guys to not only win the division, but to have the comeback that you guys had today?
We understand it's one game, but it's a culmination of what we've done so far to win this division. And I hope it's something we can build on. We don't have to play perfect, but we can still battle back. And we're seeing every situation throughout this year. We can start early, we can start late, and we're able to bounce back.
Jerry Dulac, Post-Gazette.
Hey, that's Cam Heyward. I got to talk a lot about Alex Highsmith because I was really impressed, and I know the coaches really like this guy. Bud Dupree got injured. A lot of people saying, oh, no, what's going to happen now? He's taking his opportunity. Chris, and I know you love it because there was a spin move. He got away from the tackle, got inside, put some pressure on Phillip Rivers that may have forced that throw to be, a little sooner than Rivers would have liked. But that guy is trending up, as Mike Tomlin would say. He had 8 tackles today. He had 2 quarterback hits. He's feeling pretty good about himself. At least he should be.
Absolutely. Like Coach Tomlin says, his arrow's pointing up. And these snaps are so valuable for him in his progression to be a professional football player. And he's going to make mistakes, right? He's a rookie. He's a young guy thrown into an elite defense. He's being asked to do a lot. And those kind of guys are going to make mistakes. And you got to live with those mistakes as he grows and progresses because he learns a lot of times from making mistakes. And he comes in here and he has a couple pressures. He has 8 tackles like you talked about. That less pressure when he spun on Webb and was getting ready to hit Rivers, he threw the ball. Rivers felt that pressure. He got rid of the ball sooner than he wanted to. And I just like this young man. I like his motor. I like his energy. The arrow was pointing up, and he has a bright future in the black and gold.
Well, big story this week, of course, was Juju Smith-Schuster and dancing on logos. Yeah. Mike Tomlin talked to him. That ended today. But what didn't end was a solid season, especially in big plays when they needed it. He caught a 25-yard touchdown, 9 catches on the day, almost 100 yards for Juju Smith-Schuster. Let's hear from him right now at Heinz Field.
Everyone was, pretty much just going with the flow. We came back at halftime and men talked. Pouncey said a few words and pretty much sparked us, and we went out there, defense set it off, and Ben was just doing no huddle, grinding his calling plays, and we got the job done. So it's more so about having energy and going back to having fun.
Jeff Hathorn.
Juju, is there a sense when Ben hit that pass to Deontay, like, okay, we got a chunk play, and that kind of sparked a role for you guys?
Yeah, that's early in the game, we had the same play with Deontay, with a miscommunication on the go ball, and it worked, and we came back to it, and it worked again. So it's something that we saw early in the game, so we came back to it, and Deontay made a great play, and I would say, yeah, he gave us some momentum.
Mark Caboli. All right, Mark, we'll try to come back to you. Brooke Pryor.
Hey, Juju, Ben said that, his halftime talk was about having fun and that better things or more things can happen to a football game when you have fun. Was that his message in the locker room? And did Pouncey's message echo what Ben said, or did he tell you guys something different that also helped you?
That's what he said. And then, Pouncey, made it, more announce that, having fun is what it's all about, and we're not having fun out there. And he kept repeating. He yelled it multiple times to put it, in our head, and that's something that we did second half.
Mark Kaboli, want to come back to you? All right, we'll go to Chris Adams.
All right, again, having some problems with that Zoom over there, but the bottom line is Juju Smith-Schuster kind of subdued there after this week and all the controversy that hit. But I'll tell you something, he was really a factor in that game. And the key thing, Chris Hoke, was it was a 3rd and 10 play. The Steelers still needed a touchdown there. 3rd and 10, which has sometimes been a problem for this team, throwing short passes, not even getting to the sticks. Roethlisberger threw a beauty, and there was some good defensive coverage there. He put it right on the money for Juju.
Yeah, and Juju ran a great route, and it's a great throw by Ben, thrown over the coverage. And that's what these receivers have to do. They're all young receivers. Juju being the oldest of the core, is they just got to run the routes. And you saw today in the game where Deontay Johnson was running down the seam, and he looked to his inside, and Ben threw it over his right shoulder on the outside, and there was a miscommunication there. And Deontay Johnson, whether he ran the wrong route or not, we don't know. But they've all got to be on the same page. And if they are on the same page, they will move the ball. And Ben just got to have confidence that he could push the ball down the field and that these guys are going to make catches. And I remember when Coach Cowher was the coach here, Bob, and what he used to always say is when the ball is thrown up, only 3 things can happen. It's either going to be a catch, it's going to be a pass interference, or it is going to be an incomplete pass. Interceptions are not going to happen, and that was the mentality. That's the mentality these receivers got to have. As Ben throws it up, it's either going to be a catch, a PI, or an incomplete, and Ben will not turn the ball over.
Right, there was a big PI on TJ Carey that set up scores for the Steelers. So, yeah, when you do it and you get aggressive, you're going to get some plays into your part of the equation. By the way, that was 3 touchdowns in a span of 10 minutes and 38 seconds. That's how the Steelers came back from a 17-point mid-3rd quarter deficit to win this game today. We have plenty more coming up. We're going to take a look down the road. We're going to look at other scores around the NFL and where the Steelers are right now with 1 game to go, knowing they're in the playoffs as division champs. That's all coming up, plus your calls, so don't go away. This is the Extra Point Show on KDKA TV.
We're Steelers. We take what nature provides. We work in what others can't handle. We put it through extremes others can't imagine. And we create something extraordinary. Then we share it with others so they can make their own amazing. Now, Steelers are partnering again, working to bring remarkable to the next generation so they too can be extraordinary.
This season, let the ultimate driving machine light your way home. Exceptional offers won't last. The BMW Road Home Sales Event is going on now. Receive a credit of up to $3,500 on select models.
Heinz Field, PNC Park, a rugged skyline. From our offices in Gateway Center, we see the heart of Pittsburgh. But even the strongest people in the most resilient cities sometimes have bad things happen. The attorneys at Portis & Portis understand this and are proud of the results we've obtained for our clients. But we're most proud that we get to fight for justice in this great city. Portis & Portis, fighting for justice. Proud partner of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
In a land not so far away, people are saving hundreds on the most reliable network with Xfinity Mobile. They can choose from the latest phones or bring their own. And because they get nationwide 5G at no extra cost, they live happily ever after.
Again! Your wireless, your rules, your way to stay closer together this holiday season. Switch and save up to $400 a year on your wireless bill and get $150 off when you buy a Samsung A-Series phone. Learn more at XfinityMobile.com.
I got you, don't worry. 'Cause I'm gonna make this place yours.
Looks like you're home. The BMW Road Home Sales Event is going on now. Lease BMW X3 for $399 per month.
Welcome back to Steelers Extra Point, presented by Neighborhood Ford Store.
We're back, and we're taking a look at some of the scores from around the league today. How about the Jets? They were 0-13 now. They've won 2 in a row. They beat the Rams last week. They beat the Browns, who had 4 of their receivers on the COVID list today, and it showed 23-16. And then you had the Ravens playing well, and they're back in the playoff picture because of what happened to Indianapolis, so they win 27-13. Atlanta was flirting with an upset, but Kansas City comes back and wins 17-14, so they are firmly entrenched as the #1 seed. Chris, when you look at it right now, I mean, it's a situation where you got the Steelers as a 2 seed, although that likely could change. It can drop to 3. Yep. Buffalo still can control that destiny. So it looks like the Steelers are going to open up in this playoff situation with either the Browns or the Ravens. But let's take a look at what lies ahead.
Yeah, and let's look ahead, Bob, because you look at it, and this is presented to us by Neighborhood Ford Store, and the Steelers got 1 game left, Week 17 in the NFL. The Steelers at the Brown, and the game that looked like it was going to come down potentially as an AFC North battle is now maybe not have much implications coming next week at 1 o'clock. But look at the games we have next week. The Dolphins at the Bills. Right now, the Bills sitting in the 3 spot, depending on tonight's game. And also the Dolphins, they're sitting right now at the 5th spot. So there's some playoff implications there. Ravens at Bengals. Ravens are sitting at the 6th seed right now in the playoffs. So that one looks like it's going to be a win for the Ravens, and they should be able to hold on to that playoff spot. Chiefs, not much to play before there. Chiefs have secured that #1 spot, so really they'll probably rest their starters, Patrick Mahomes. Jaguars at Colts, this is a big one. The Colts right now are a very good team on the outside looking in, and Tennessee Titans at the Texans. This is another big one. Even though the Texans are having a down year, the Titans, they're still in a lot of battles here. They are in that #4 spot, and so if they win, they potentially can move up and move into that #3 spot, depending on what happens tonight with the Bills.
Boy, what a difference, too. The Colts, you know, they had things going well.
Yep.
And now all of a sudden, as you said, they're on the outside looking in. If you look at it as it stands right now, the Steelers would be the 2 seed, although, again, that could change, taking on the Browns. Bills would take on the Ravens, and then Tennessee and Miami. Indianapolis had this game up and in their grasp, and all of a sudden it went away, and so did their playoff chances, and now they're going to need some help next week as well. That's how quickly things can change in the NFL. We have a lot to get into, and now we want your calls and your tweets. You can hook us up at KDPomp, at HokeyBro76, plus call the number on the Sports Call special edition of the Sports Call coming up. We want your calls here coming up, so don't go away. Steelers win 28-24. They still have some things to work on, certainly. Ugly first half, tremendous second half. They get to 12 wins and 3 losses. We'll be back with more of that and your calls next, right here live on KDKA. Steelers, winners of the North.